If you have ever started decluttering your home, full of energy and good intentions, only to stop halfway through, overwhelmed and discouraged, I want you to know something very important. You are not alone, and more importantly, there is nothing wrong with you. You are not lazy. You are not messy. You are not failing. What you are feeling is real, because decluttering is not just about cleaning. It is not just about tossing things out or organizing shelves. Decluttering is emotional. It brings up memories, guilt, frustration, and sometimes sadness. It touches your identity, your past, and even your sense of security. Maybe you have started this process before and asked yourself, why is this so hard? Maybe you've quit halfway through and felt ashamed or disappointed. Maybe you've wondered why everyone else seems to make it look easy. But here's what I want you to hear from me, gently and clearly. Decluttering does not fail because you are weak. Decluttering fails because we often start from the wrong place, with the wrong expectations and the wrong reasons. Today, I want to walk beside you as we explore 10 of those reasons, 10 very common and very human reasons why decluttering doesn't stick. Along the way, I am going to help you let go of the guilt, step past the frustration, and find a kinder way to move forward. 1. You did it to impress someone. Have you ever looked around your home and thought, I really need to get this place together? What would people think if they walked in right now? It's such a common thought, and at first glance, it even sounds reasonable. We want our homes to look nice, to be presentable. We want to be seen as capable, in control, maybe even admired. But here's the truth that is hard to say out loud. If your motivation to declutter is rooted in impressing other people, it will never lead you to peace. Because no matter how clean, how minimalist, how beautiful your space becomes, you will still feel like you're performing for someone else, and performances are exhausting. You might work hard to clean everything up before company comes, only to find yourself resenting the effort or quietly panicking when things slip back to normal. You feel pressure to maintain an image instead of creating a space that truly supports your everyday life. Here's the gentle shift that changes everything. What if you stopped decluttering for them and started creating your home for you? Not for your neighbor, not for your daughter-in-law, not for the guests who only stay a few hours, but for the woman who wakes up in that home every morning and lays her head down every night. You don't need to impress anyone. You've already lived a life full of care, of giving, of hard-earned wisdom. Your home should be a reflection of what brings you comfort, not what earns a compliment. Let the next drawer you clean be cleaned for you. Let the space you make be space to breathe, not perform. That is where real, lasting change begins. 2. You tried to do it all at once. I remember talking with a woman, widowed in her late 60s, who told me she was going to declutter her entire house in one weekend. She was determined, she said. I'm sick of all this stuff. I'm going to pull it all out and finally get it done. 2 days later, I got a very different call. Her living room was full of bins, the closet was torn apart, and the garage looked like a storm had passed through. She was overwhelmed, frustrated, and on the verge of tears. What was I thinking? She said. I can't do all this. And my answer to her is the same one I'll offer you now. You were thinking you had to do it all at once, and you don't. When we try to declutter everything in one big push, we usually run into two walls: decision fatigue and emotional exhaustion. Our minds can only make so many choices in one sitting. Our hearts can only handle so many memories, so much dust, so many what-ifs. The better path is the slower one, the gentler one. Start with one drawer, one shelf, one corner of one room. Don't think of it as cleaning your house. Think of it as curating your piece in small, manageable pieces. And here's the most surprising thing. When you go slow, you go deeper. You make better decisions. You build momentum, not burnout. You learn to trust your judgment. And maybe most importantly, you stop associating decluttering with dread. It becomes something quieter, softer, even satisfying. You're not behind if you're going slow. You're just being kind to yourself. And kindness in this season of life is worth more than speed. 3. You decluttered without a real goal. Decluttering without a goal is a little like setting off on a road trip without a destination. You might get somewhere, but it probably won't be where you meant to go. And chances are, halfway through you'll feel lost and give up. That's what happens to so many people. They get inspired to clean out a closet or pull down boxes from the attic, but they haven't taken a moment to ask themselves one important question. Why am I doing this? Without a clear answer, the process becomes mechanical. You end up moving things from one shelf to another, tossing out a few odds and ends, but the deeper clutter, the emotional clutter, remains. And eventually, without purpose, the motivation fades. So what's a real goal? It's not just less stuff. That's vague. A real goal sounds more like, I want my home to feel calm when I wake up in the morning. I want to open my closet and find only what fits and feels good. I want to have enough room in the kitchen to cook without stress. See the difference? A strong personal goal gives each item you touch a question to answer. Does this help me reach that feeling I'm aiming for? When you have a clear vision, when you know what you're working toward, decluttering becomes much more than cleaning. It becomes an act of alignment, a step toward the life you want now in this current season, not one based on who you used to be. So before you start the next project, pause, close your eyes, picture what you truly want from your home. Then let that be the reason you begin again. 4. You felt guilty throwing things away. It starts small. A birthday card from 10 years ago. A scarf your sister gave you that you never really liked. A set of china that's too fancy to use, but too special to let go. You hold it. You hesitate. You whisper to yourself, but she gave this to me. Or, what if I regret it later? And before you know it, you've put it right back where it was. Guilt is quiet, but powerful. It shows up as a voice that says, you're ungrateful, or you're disrespecting the memory, or you're wasting something someone else might have treasured. But let me gently ask you this. Is your home meant to be a museum of guilt? A warehouse of memories you're afraid to let go of? Or is it meant to be a place of peace, a space where you can rest? When you keep something only because you feel bad letting it go, it slowly takes up more than just physical space. It takes emotional space. It drains your energy. It creates a home that feels heavy instead of healing. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't mean you must get rid of every gift, every memento, every item with a story. Some things are worth keeping. They make you smile. They connect you to someone you love. They truly mean something to you. But guilt is not the same as meaning. You're not obligated to hold on to something forever just because it once meant something to someone else. Love is not stored in old mixing bowls or a dusty quilt in the attic. It's stored in the way you remember a person's laugh, the way you smile when a scent or a song brings them back to you. That love lives in your heart, not your boxes. And when you do let something go, it's not betrayal, it's release. Try this. Before you part with something, say thank you. Out loud if you want to. Thank you for being part of my life. Thank you for the joy or the comfort you brought. And now I'm letting you go. Guilt may still tug at your heart. That's okay. You're not made of stone, but don't let guilt build walls around you. Let it pass through. And then walk forward, lighter. 5. You bought bins before you decluttered. You know how it goes. You feel the urge to declutter. Finally, today's the day, so you head to the store. The aisles are filled with beautiful baskets, stackable bins, perfectly labeled drawer systems. Everything looks so clean, so controlled, so promising. You imagine how lovely your closet will look, how your kitchen pantry will finally make sense. You buy the containers, bring them home, and start placing things inside. Except, it doesn't feel lighter. The space is still full. The chaos hasn't changed. You haven't decluttered. You've just relocated the clutter into prettier boxes. That's the trap. It's a very common one, especially for those of us who are visual people. We crave order, and we're drawn to tools that look like they'll help us get there. And don't get me wrong, good containers do have their place, but not first. Bins are not a solution. They are a support, a later step. First comes clarity. First comes letting go. Think of it like this. If you were planning a road trip, you wouldn't pack the car before choosing where you're going. You wouldn't fill it with bags, coolers, and snacks, and then decide the destination. You'd waste gas, time, and probably miss the point entirely. Decluttering works the same way. You must decide what matters before deciding how to store it. Instead of buying bins first, begin by touching each item and asking, do I still use this? Do I still love this? Is this serving the life I live now? Let that process come first. Once you've let go of what no longer fits your season of life, then you'll see what truly needs a home. Then the containers you buy won't be guesses. They'll be precise tools to support your new, lighter space. And here's the bonus. You'll probably need fewer bins than you thought. Less stuff equals fewer systems to manage, less stress, less spending, more room to breathe. So the next time the urge strikes and you find yourself eyeing that cute basket set at the store, pause, breathe, and remember, you're not organizing clutter, you're building peace. 6. You tried to reach perfection. I once sat across from a woman in her 70s who told me, almost with a whisper, I've been trying to get my house perfect for 20 years. I thought I'd finally feel proud once it was. She paused, looked around the living room, which was, by any measure, tidy, clean, and peaceful, and then added, but it still doesn't feel done. And now I'm just tired. Her words stuck with me. She wasn't failing. She had worked hard. Her home was warm and functional. But because it didn't match the image she had in her head, a photo she saw once in a magazine, or a Pinterest perfect room, she couldn't enjoy the progress she had made. That's what perfection does to us. It raises the bar every time we reach for it. It tells us, just a little more, just a little cleaner, just a little better. And the moment we think we're close, it moves again. Always out of reach, always whispering, not quite enough. But let me offer a different question, one that might feel more gentle, more real. Does your space work for you? Can you find what you need without digging? Can you sit in your favorite chair without feeling overwhelmed? Can you rest without looking around and seeing a dozen undone things? That, my friend, is what matters. That is your version of done. Perfection is rigid and unforgiving. But functionality is freedom. It allows room for life. Real, imperfect, beautiful life. So if you've been chasing that spotless version of your home and feeling like you're falling short, maybe it's time to let go of that vision. Not because you're giving up, but because you're choosing something better. Choose peace over polish. Choose progress over perfection. Choose a home that fits you, not an impossible standard. You've done enough. You are enough. And your home doesn't need to be perfect to be deeply, beautifully yours. 7. You got stuck in sentimentality. You open a cabinet or a box in the attic and see it. The baby dress from when your daughter was 3. The wedding invitation from your niece who now has 3 children of her own. A faded photograph, a yellowed letter, an old perfume bottle that hasn't held scent in 20 years. Suddenly, You're not in the present moment anymore. You're back in a memory. And your heart tightens because this isn't just stuff. It's your life. This is where many of us get stuck. Decluttering hits a wall, not because we're lazy, not because we don't care, but because sentimentality wraps itself around our things and whispers, "You can't let this go." So, we don't. We hold on, not to the item itself, but to what it represents: a person, a moment, a season of life that feels distant, but still dear. And that's completely understandable. You have lived a rich, full life. Your home holds decades of stories. Of course, it's hard to separate what's just clutter from what feels sacred. But let's ask a gentle question. Is it really honoring a memory to keep it buried in a bin? To let it collect dust in a box that hasn't been opened in years? Memories live inside us. They are not confined to objects. And they do not disappear when the item leaves your hands. In fact, when you release something with love and intention, you're often able to hold the memory with even more clarity, because it's no longer buried in the back of a closet. It's alive in your heart. Here's one way to start. Choose 1 or 2 truly meaningful items from a group. Display them. Frame the letter. Put the photo in a visible place. Use the teacup instead of storing it. Let it breathe. Then thank the rest. Literally say it. Thank you. Then let them go. You're not erasing your life. You're curating it, making room to live fully in the season you're in now, not just the seasons you've passed through. Your story isn't in danger of being lost. It lives in the way you tell it, the way you remember, the way you love. So hold tight to what still speaks to you and gently release the rest. 8. You tried to declutter other people's stuff. It happens with the best of intentions. You've made progress decluttering your own things. You've cleared your kitchen counter, donated clothes, opened up some space in the hallway closet, and it feels good. So now you turn to your husband's workbench, or your adult child's old bedroom, or your granddaughter's toy shelf. You think, they don't even use this. This hasn't moved in 5 years. I'm just helping. And sometimes, yes, it does help. But more often than not, it leads to something else entirely. Tension, frustration, even arguments. Because here's the truth. Many of us learn the hard way. You can't declutter what isn't yours. Decluttering's personal, deeply so. Even when an item looks like junk to you, it may carry hidden value to someone else. It may remind your spouse of a time when they still felt useful. Or be connected to a hobby they're not quite ready to let go of. It might be your child's last connection to a childhood they didn't choose to outgrow. When we toss or give away someone else's belongings without their participation or permission, we cross a boundary. And no matter how practical our reasons may be, what they often feel is betrayal. So what's the solution? You begin with what's yours: your clothing, your books, your drawers. Let your family see what you're doing without saying a word about their stuff. When they watch your space become lighter, your spirit calmer, your routines easier, they might become curious. They might even ask questions. That's the door opening. That's when you can gently step in with a conversation. But even if they never do, you still win, because your home isn't made peaceful by controlling others. It's made peaceful by tending to what's within your hands. Here's another truth. When you respect someone else's process, even if they're not ready, you build trust. And trust makes room for future cooperation. So for now, release the pressure. Lead by quiet example, and focus on the only space you truly have authority over, your own. Peace spreads. Let it begin with you. 9. You thought decluttering would fix everything. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, once I declutter this room, I'll feel better? You imagined that clearing the floor would clear your mind, that organizing the drawers would organize your emotions. that having less stuff would finally make life feel manageable. And in a way, it's a beautiful thought. It shows hope, a desire for change, a belief that our outer world reflects our inner one. But here's where it gets tricky. When we start treating decluttering like a cure-all, like a bandage for grief, loneliness, anxiety, or even unresolved tension in a relationship, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Because decluttering can help. It can lift a weight off your shoulders. It can remove visual stress. It can simplify daily life. But it can't mend a broken heart. It can't bring someone back. It can't fill an empty home with laughter again. It's important to know what decluttering can do and what it can't. If you're feeling low and you start cleaning in hopes that you'll magically feel whole again, you might be disheartened when the emotions stay, and that can make you give up. But what if we reframed the purpose? What if decluttering wasn't about fixing everything, but about making space for healing to begin? Less clutter means fewer distractions, fewer decisions, more room for rest, more clarity for what really needs attention, and sometimes, after clearing a surface or sorting through a drawer, we discover an emotion underneath that needs to be felt. Not fixed, not solved, just felt. And that's okay. Let your decluttering be a companion to healing, not a substitute for it. Let it clear a path, not carry the whole burden. And when the sadness lingers, let yourself feel it. Then do something kind for yourself. Light a candle. Call a friend. Sit quietly and breathe. Your peace doesn't have to come all at once. It can come in pieces just like your home, tended to gently, one corner at a time. 10. You are just getting rid of things. At first, decluttering seems simple. You go through your home, room by room, and ask, what can I get rid of? You grab a trash bag. You fill it. You drop things off at donation centers. It feels productive, maybe even a little freeing. But after a while, something feels off. You've tossed a dozen bags, but the space still feels cluttered. You still feel unsettled. That's because decluttering isn't about getting rid of things. It's about deciding what deserves to stay. If your only goal is to get stuff out, you're likely making surface-level choices. You may be throwing away items you actually needed. Or worse, you're skipping over the real issue, which is not how much you have, but whether what you have actually serves your life now. Let's pause here and ask a better question. Instead of, what should I get rid of? Try, what do I want to live with? What do I want to see when I open my closet in the morning? What do I want my kitchen to feel like when I cook a meal? What kinds of books, colors, textures, and tools bring me ease, not frustration? This is what I call curating, not purging. When you curate your space, you're choosing what supports your life today, not yesterday, not 20 years ago, but now. Imagine your home as a personal gallery. What items deserve to be on display in this next chapter of your life? What supports your peace, your rhythm, your joy? Everything else? You can thank it. You can release it. You can let it find a new home where it's truly needed. And here's the beautiful part. When you shift your mindset from getting rid of things to intentionally choosing what stays, decluttering becomes less about loss and more about freedom. You're no longer cutting things out. You're making space for the life you want to live. That's not a task. That's a transformation. So the next time you stand in front of a cluttered drawer or a packed shelf, don't ask, what do I need to throw away? Ask instead, what do I want to keep with love? That one question can change everything. You made it through all 10 reasons, and I want to say something very simple, but very true. I'm proud of you. Not for getting rid of anything, not for organizing a single drawer, but for staying with yourself, for listening, for allowing your heart to open to the idea that maybe there's a kinder way forward. You may have tried decluttering before. You may have quit. You may have felt ashamed, frustrated, or just too tired to keep going. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. Decluttering is not about empty homes. It's about creating full lives, lives with room to breathe, to rest, to enjoy the little things again. Lives that feel like yours. So here's what I hope you'll take from this. You don't have to declutter everything at once. You don't need to follow a strict method. You don't need to aim for perfect. You just need to begin, with clarity, with compassion, and with one small step. Maybe that means choosing one drawer to go through tomorrow. Maybe it means forgiving yourself for the mess. Maybe it means sitting still today and trying again later. All of it counts. All of it matters, because you matter. And you deserve a home that feels like peace, not just tidy, not just company ready, but truly supportive, soft around the edges, reflective of you. Thank you for spending this time with me. And if you feel moved, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What part of this spoke to you most? What's one area of your home you want to reclaim for yourself? Until next time, go gently. You don't have to do it all. You just have to begin. And you already have.